Venus Williams was on her side of the net. And they won. Alex Eala just won a tennis match. That sentence alone is not news anymore. Alex Eala wins tennis matches all the time now. She wins them against world number 2 players. Against world number 8 players. In semi-finals of WTA 500 events. In tournament finals on grass courts in Europe. Winning is no longer the surprise. Winning has become the expectation. But this one was different. Because standing beside her on her side of the net was Venus Williams. Let that sit for a moment. Venus Williams. 46 years old. 7 Grand Slam singles titles. 14 Grand Slam doubles titles. 5 Wimbledon singles championships. A player who did not just dominate women's tennis, she redefined what the sport could look like, who it could belong to, and what was possible for every woman who came after her. She fought for equal prize money at Grand Slams and won that fight. She played through eras that were harder, carried the weight of being a pioneer, and built a legacy that stretched far beyond any trophy or ranking number. She changed the sport. And she is still here. Still competing. Still walking onto courts at 46 years old and reminding people exactly why she matters. Tonight in Bad Homburg, Germany, Venus Williams and Alex Eala shared a court as doubles partners for the very first time in their careers. And they won. The result: Eala and Williams defeated Catherine Harrison of the United States and Alexandra Osborne of Australia in the round of 16 of the WTA 500 Bad Homburg Open doubles draw. Scoreline, 6-3, 6-4. Time on court, 1 hour and 10 minutes. Result, quarterfinals. But the scoreline does not tell you the full story of what happened out there. From the very first game, doubles is one of the most instinct-driven disciplines in all of tennis. It demands that you read your partner without talking, knowing when to poach a ball your partner has left, when to hold your position, when to be aggressive at the net, and when to give ground. 2 players who have never stood on the same side of a net before will often look hesitant in the early games. Clunky. Out of rhythm. They need time to trust each other. Eala and Williams needed about 15 minutes to look completely comfortable together. Maybe less. They raced to a 4-0 lead in the first set, for straight games before Harrison and Osborne managed to get on the scoreboard. Sharp. Aggressive. Completely locked in. Every movement looked coordinated. Every point looked intentional. The first set closed 6-3, and it was not even as close as that score suggests. They were controlling rallies, owning the net, and making their opponents feel like they were playing uphill from the opening exchange. Then the second set changed everything. Harrison and Osborne did not travel to Bad Homburg to lose politely and go home. They came back in the second set with a completely different gear. Reading patterns. Pushing deeper. Forcing Eala and Williams into errors they had not made in the first set. They broke serve. They went ahead 3-2. Suddenly the match had a new story, and the crowd that had been celebrating this partnership went quiet. At 3-2 down, this is where you find out what a doubles partnership is actually made of. 2 players new to each other, competing under pressure for the first time together, can start to unravel. Body language tightens. Communication breaks down. You start looking at your partner for answers instead of playing tennis. Eala and Williams did none of that. They responded immediately. Back-to-back games. Then their first break of the second set. 4-3, the lead was back. The crowd lifted again. Harrison and Osborne came back one more time. They broke to level it at 4-4. The set was fully alive, not the comfortable cruise of the first set, but 2 teams competing hard for every single point, the crowd feeling every exchange. And Eala and Williams won the fight. Game 9 held. And then Venus Williams stepped up to serve out the match at 5-4. The ball in her hand. The match on the line. The crowd watching. She did not hesitate. She closed it out, 6-4. The WTA posted the moment on social media within minutes with a single caption, "Cue the twirl." Because that is exactly the energy these 2 brought to every minute of this match. Not cold, not clinical, not just going through the motions of a warm-up event before a Grand Slam. Joyful. Alive. Competing like it mattered, because it did. What this moment actually means: Alex Eala is 21 years old. She has spoken openly about Venus Williams as a childhood idol, one of the players she grew up watching, one of the reasons she believed that professional tennis was a world she could eventually enter and belong in. Venus Williams is part of the reason a young girl from the Philippines could look at a professional tennis court and imagine herself playing on it one day. Tonight, that idol was standing on her side of the net as her partner. Celebrating the same win. Fist pumping after the same points. That is not something that happens to most people who pick up a racket and dream about making it as a professional tennis player. That is something that happens to Alex Eala. In the week before she becomes the first Filipino ever seated at a Grand Slam. The singles loss that made this more meaningful. This doubles match did not happen in a vacuum. Earlier this week, Eala lost in the Bad Homburg singles draw, beaten 6-3, 6-3 by Belgium's Elise Mertens, ranked world number 26. Mertens was sharper, better rested, and won 81.5% of her first serve points. The match was not close. Eala was coming in carrying the physical and mental load of a Berlin week where she reached the semifinals as a wild card after beating both the world number 2 and the world number 8 back-to-back in the same tournament. The body remembers that kind of week. So does the mind. She lost that singles match. And then she came back. She did not disappear. She did not take the rest of the week off and coast into Wimbledon on the momentum of Berlin. She walked back onto a court in the same tournament, this time with Venus Williams beside her, and competed. And won. In front of a crowd. Same week. No time to feel sorry for herself. That is what we mean when we say Alex Eala has become a different kind of player this year. It is not just the ranking. It is not just the wins over top 10 players. It is this, the ability to absorb a loss, reset, switch formats completely, and come out the other side with a victory. Same tournament. Same week. What comes next? Eala and Williams now face the number 2 seeds in the quarterfinals, Slovakia's Teresa Mihalikova and Great Britain's Olivia Nichols, both ranked 29th in the world in doubles. They won their own first-round match 6-2, 6-3. Dominant. Efficient. Looking every bit like the second seeds they are. This is a real step up. And nothing about the way Eala and Williams performed tonight suggests they plan to go quietly. One more thing worth adding: after Bad Homburg wraps up, Venus Williams heads to Wimbledon, where she will partner with her sister Serena Williams in the doubles draw. Serena has announced her return to professional tennis after years away from the tour. The Williams sisters together on a Wimbledon doubles court is already one of the most emotional and talked about storylines of the entire grass season. But before any of that, before the reunion with Serena, before center court, before the biggest stage in the sport, Venus Williams chose to come to Bad Homburg this week and play doubles with a 21-year-old from the Philippines who once watched her on television and imagined what it might feel like to be that good. Tonight, she found out. She is not going to Wimbledon to participate. Alex Eala walks into Wimbledon in 5 days as the number 29 seed, the first Filipino ever seeded at a Grand Slam. She arrives having won 9 matches on grass this season, having beaten 2 top 10 players in the same week in Berlin, having claimed her first professional grass court title in Birmingham, and having just won a doubles match alongside one of the greatest players in the history of the sport. She is not going to Wimbledon to participate. She is going to compete.